I'm good.
Perfect. Well, hey, what's up, Adam? How's it
What's up,
going today?
man? I'm good. I'm good.
Good.
I'm good. How you doing?
Doing good. Hey, I'm super excited that we decided to do this for our team
Yeah.
and also for like clients.
Yep.
And so for those that don't know, I kind of just want you to go over your background a little bit, what makes Second Team unique
hmm
and kind of your experience and why you started this.
Whew. Yeah. I think the easiest thing to do is say I accidentally got into marketing really from the onset of my career. I was working basically in video production. And this was very early 2000, literally 2000, 2001. Um, and technically, you know, was only supposed to be like the post-production, pre-production director, manager, or whatever. Small team, right? So we just sort of everybody had to step in. And so I had found myself being the one that was really making calls, influencing our actual webpage and our content. Um, these are the MySpace days, so MySpace for business wasn't even really a thing. It was cold calling. It was open up a phone book and look for businesses that make sense. And we kind of cut our teeth in the music industry and in the government section. And then I got into the car business. I got into car sales 2005, 2006. For all the wonderful things that Apple has brought to various industries, there tend to be patterns and waves. I'm not blaming everything on Apple, but I will blame exposure and accessibility to technology while is such an important phase of humanity, and just anthropology in general. There are people that get blindsided by it all the time. And so we were at in a production house that was billing around 150 an hour, for editing, for production, for camera work, for voiceover, for script writing, all of it. And for $1,200, a little bit of your college tuition that your parents are giving you, kids started getting iMacs that were pretty serious machines. And you could get a decent, back then these were 1080 1080p, but they're digital cameras that were able to do down to 24 frames a second, up to up to 60 frames a second, and real high quality, high production cameras for less than $1,000. So for $2,000 roughly, you could be a video producer. And that puts you in a category of being able to charge, back then, $25 an hour. So that was like my first pivot. I had to go do something else, and I got into automotive sales. And I jokingly tell people this story. I think I've already told you guys this story. I was the worst car salesman in the history of that dealership for
Yeah,
a really long, for a
yeah,
really
you were
long.
telling me you were scared to ask for the sale, and I was like
Oh, I
appalled.
was,
Like that's my whole bread and butter. But like,
yeah,
I kind of want you
yeah.
to tell the story a little bit more about like how you got into
Okay,
the digital side on it, because for
sure.
those that are going to watch this that don't know, I mean, obviously you told me and Josh, but like
Yeah.
the fact that the owner of the company had to pay you such a big commission check that he wrote you an IOU check, like
Uh,
like
yeah,
how explain how you got there and like how
yeah,
how does that help us now?
sure. So I think, I'll start this off with, in sales, you can learn anything and everything that you need to learn in order to get over the base hurdles to be able to get sales to be a career for you, right? To pay your bills, to take care of your household, your family, whatever it is. That's easy for some people, harder for others, almost nearly impossible for a small segment of people. And for me, what I had to learn was that asking for the sale face to face in front of a customer, at the time of a transactional sale, right? I want this phone. I need this phone. Buy this phone from me. I have it. We can do this right now. What are we waiting for? Let's do. I just suck at it. And I still, to this day, at 43 years old, I still suck at it. I mean, if you ask me who wins the sales arguments between me and my kids, just go look at their toy box, right? I
Right.
mean,
Right.
they are not afraid to ask for the sale. What I what happened for me was I had a great team of managers. To this day, Ricky Scruggs, former baseball player, current pastor, I think is the right term for him. works for American Red Cross now. He left the automotive industry, but he was the guy that set it in motion for me. Um, and another guy, Terry. I'll have to get back to you on Terry's, but those two guys basically were like, look, you're not taking home pay. Like, you've been here for months. You get so close. And we can't close every deal for you. So they basically offered me an office job. They offered me a marketing job. They said, listen, we get these leads from Toyota via email. I've told this story a million times. I think it's even on my LinkedIn. And they basically offered me a salary, a car, an office, a title, a laptop, but it was the BlackBerry. They offered me a BlackBerry, and the BlackBerry was what was the deal that was sold me. I was like, yeah, I'll take it. I don't even care about the salary, pay, whatever. I just wanted to have a BlackBerry so bad, right? This is 2003, 4, maybe 2005, maybe. So it was like every cool, serious business person on television at the time, they had a BlackBerry. I just wanted that silver bead in the middle, the little, that's like a classic at this point. But that was it. It was just like, I just want the damn BlackBerry. I want email on my phone.
Right.
And so basically I spent a couple days looking at this inbox that had like 5 years worth of emails. I want to say somewhere in the ballpark of, I think it was like greater than 3,000 emails. And I called up a couple buddies that were a little bit more talented at writing scripts and a little bit better at programming at that time than I was. And we came up with some ideas. And, long story short, I shot out an email to every single one of these people, all in a blanket blast that was totally non-compliant back at the time. And to these days would have shut down that inbox and spam compliance all over the place. And I got up the next morning bright and early. I literally like all night long was just waiting for my BlackBerry to like update and have an email, something.
Yeah.
Someone responded to something. Nothing. I get to the office. It's like 5:30. The office doesn't even open till, I think the service center didn't even open till like 7. So I'm just like, well, maybe a janitor, someone will let me in. I'll get to my computer, open up my laptop, and there will be all these emails. And sure enough, once I got within range of the Wi-Fi, which was not the parking lot, right? This isn't mesh 2023, right? This is like pretty old school stuff. So you had to be, really, I needed to be like in the building and in near my office. But as soon as I started walking up to the office, ding, 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 I had hundreds of emails. And a lot of them were customers that had written back and said, we love the service center. We've been getting our vehicle serviced at your Toyota store for years. We love it there. Please reach out to Mark or Jimmy or Peter and tell them, hey, and I'll be in on Sunday to get popcorn. And, it was great. And then I also, in the mix of that, had some emails that said, actually, we haven't purchased yet. And I was like, that's interesting. So this goes on. And, long story short, I was like, let me just keep responding back to these people that have said, yes, I'm still interested. I haven't bought yet. Figured out a way to get some inventory that matched what they were looking for into these emails. Then I started working down the personalization range. And ultimately, we sold it was maybe like 10 days of this whole system of doing this. And around the 10th, 11th day, I had appointments scheduled, and it was getting close to the weekend. And it was like, we sold like 30 cars on a Friday and like 45 cars on a Saturday and like another 30 cars on a Sunday.
That's crazy.
And it just didn't stop. And it went on for weeks and weeks and weeks like that. And I did tell you guys the story that like my biggest check would have been, just shy of like $76,000. And the owner actually came and took me to lunch and was like, hey, so I can't in good sound mind, I can't pay you the check that your pay plan tells, but you clearly have figured something out. Toyota even has noticed. Toyota ended up coming into the store like a week or so later than after that. and yeah, and so we had a conversation, and a lot of that started rolling out to other Toyota dealerships, and ultimately what happened was, they did change my pay plan, and I did get paid that 75,000, but it was paid like over time, and
Yeah, in
we
increments.
yeah, and we immediately changed my pay plan. It was like, but after that, like for the next year and a half that I was there until I got moved to Maryland, I had three assistants, two guys that just did my delivery prep. They just like, literally just, so we kind of took like a $150,000 team,
Yeah,
right? And just put all that together. And it gave me the chance to hyper personalize my emails, work with the rest of the sales team to personalize their emails, to get the CRM working for everyone in the store instead of just one avenue. And then we started to do the whole, it wasn't an internet department. We were farming out the leads to the regular sales floor so that, basically what happened was everybody grew by about, 200% of what they were typically selling. And it was a fairy tale story. And then I went to Maryland, and fixed Toyota stores. I fixed Toyota stores in Maryland for many, many years until then, more evolution of my career. And that's really kind of it's really where I ended up learning more, because I could see that there was a ceiling I was going to hit.
yeah,
And I knew that ceiling was going to top out at like internet manager. I really wanted to learn about the e-commerce side. We'll get into that another day, or you can ask it a different
yeah,
question. But I started to see that there were angles and limits to opportunity at that time, and I wanted to stay at the very front of what can I continue to do to shape all of automotive retail for the client, for the dealership, for the manufacturer, to sort of make this, a better experience than it had been for 40, 50 years before that. And honestly, 20 years later, I'm still doing that. I'm still in that conversation, leading, companies and teams, through the current sort of challenges and exciting technologies and changes,
yeah.
in the way people buy cars. So yeah.
Definitely. So that kind of brings up a question for me that I
Sure.
just thought of while you were talking though is,
Yeah.
you know, Toyota's a big national company, and with
Mhm.
that story, like, what do you think separated you? Like, how are you able to get so much success doing it at the beginning? Because I guarantee you're not the only guy that likes
No.
Star Wars, that knows computers,
Yeah.
that
Yeah. There
like
was
what made you so special and so good at it? And what what
um
what attributed to your success would be, I guess, the best way to ask that question.
money, revenue.
Yeah.
So there were about a couple hundred of us, male and female, internet explorers, right? It's funny because it used to be an actual browser that everybody used. Um, so yeah, so there was a group of us, I would say, and I was close to maybe 35 or 40 of in my area, who I thought were like the top, like the best, at internet sales, or at digital marketing for the automotive industry. And really what gave that group of maybe the 200 of the 2000s, what really set us apart was timing and opportunity. And we just made a shit ton of money for the manufacturers, a shit ton of money for the dealerships. It was easy to make good deals for our customer. That part was easy, because what we did for the customer was we modeled the experience after what consumers were saying they wanted. They
Yeah.
didn't want I put in a lead on a Camry. I get, within an hour, I get 10 phone calls. I've got 20 dealerships within 2 days that have, just bombarded my inbox. We used to joke at the time, people would create a separate email account just to shop for a car, right? Because you got to think about it too. You're also looking to get trade value on the car you're getting rid of. You're looking at finance options. So you're looking at funding alternatives. You're looking at insurance. You're getting insurance quotes. So you've got probably for one household to try to buy one car once in a year. You open up that can of worms, and you've got probably 300 different channels of communication coming at you just because you just want to buy a car,
Yeah.
right? And so I tried to model for my dealerships, I tried to model an experience that set us apart of that noise. And a lot of that was personalization. We talk about personalization now like it's common sense. Back
Yeah.
then, Mark, it wasn't
Yeah.
common sense. Common sense was, I have the car, It's this price. Here's your quote. When can you come in? Can you come in tomorrow? Do you prefer mornings or evenings? That was that whole game. And we sort of overcame that. At the same time, we made it super simple, right? So what does a dealership want? Customer comes in, they want to get them to a salesperson. That customer is already coming in saying, well, I want to see Adam.
Yeah.
I want to see Sean. I want to see, um, Isaac or whoever. And so that already that starts to cause contention. So what we made sure that we had set up was a quick process. Customers here, paperwork's already pre-done, sales managers approve the deal, it's ready to go into the finance box as soon as a finance manager is ready to take that deal. Customers in and out in an hour. you know
Yeah. Yeah.
OEM's happy, we're turning inventory, customers happy, CSI scores are going up. So it really just came down to, it was opportunity, right? It was, the timing was perfect in the market to do something like this. I got lucky with about 200 other people. Yeah.
Yeah. I believe that a little bit, but I always say that, luck without preparation, like, hard work with preparation equals luck.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe like we just all are lucky all the time or somebody else is
No.
lucky. Obviously, like you said, you sent out 3,000 emails in that first week, that first day, and that's
Yeah,
what started this whole thing. And
it
so,
is. Mhm.
yeah, I definitely, I mean, I believe in luck, but we definitely have to do the work. So,
Yeah.
let's take a second and talk about second team. Like, what was the
Sure.
vision? What inspired you to be like, hey, I want to go and help
Yeah.
medium and small
Mhm.
businesses that are struggling right now in the market, especially because of COVID, and
Yeah.
I want to go help them achieve their goals and dreams, knowing money follows value, and that's going to help us too.
Yeah. So, I mean, I grew up poor.
Yeah.
I grew up middle class. My mom and dad worked their butts off. My dad worked multiple. He had an amazing career at the post office. So government job, great security. Mom was a teacher. So we weren't poor, right? But my parents grew up both at a level of poverty. Um, and or at least just not access. My mom was a military brat, so I say that just to say that, like, she had access and she had a life that most people will never grow up and experience. But her parents were humble and raised her that way. My dad's parents were humble and raised him that way. And so I, grew up with friends whose parents had small businesses that we supported in our local area. My dad was an entrepreneur, is still an entrepreneur. My dad, before it really all came together for him, my dad had little knickknack shops and little craft stores like in our downtown, right? Growing up, like, my aunt and uncle, my uncle has had a landscaping business as long as I can remember. Most of the people that are close to me are small business owners. I've watched them put in the work. I've watched them struggle. I've seen them go through it. Meanwhile, I've been making billions and billions and billions of dollars in profit for huge companies, for 2 decades. And that's fun and it's great for a career. When I had my kids and I wanted to slow things down a little bit and be able to spend more time with them, really be able to spend as much time with them as I want, I looked at my opportunities and I said, if I had a chance to give my best talent, my best resources, pull my group of people together, right? My team of experts, my colleagues that I've spent 15 years working with, 20 years working with, if I could put that to the best work, and if it was a match dollar for dollar, I can make the same amount of money doing this for this group, or I can make the same amount of money doing this for this group. This group doesn't need any help. I mean, they need a lot of help. Corporate America needs a ton of help. We can get on that diatribe a whole other day. But small business and mid-sized business in America are just on an unprecedented level. You see these major emergences in technology, and you've got small businesses that are kind of like either scratching to try to make sense of AI, trying to scratch and make sense out of, should I use mixed reality? Should I plan on my business moving to mixed reality? They see this stuff happening quickly. We've already gone through a decade now of crypto and Bitcoin. And, do I need to start investing in that? Do I need to, be able to take those type of payments for the small to mid-sized business owner? And we're not even talking about like just basic, simple marketing, just the simple principles of digital marketing. The access and the cost are so prohibitive across the board And then you end up basically looking at that landscape, and that business owner kind of has one or two options, right now today, prior to companies like Second Team emerging, is you've got pay out the nose and hope that you're getting something for it, right? Or pay a reasonable amount and pray that you're not getting scammed. And I think that's really what solidified Sean and I making the decision that we wanted to go full investment on Second Team, which is making the standard operating procedures of digital marketing best practices for a website, best practices for an e-commerce marketplace, best practices for omni-channel, for digital ads, for paid ads management. How do you do that? How do you set up an ROI? How do you do it without getting lost in all of the data and reporting? How do you just keep up on social media? And all, at the end of the day, it's about make sure that the big guys aren't pushing my business out, and making sure that I'm growing my local audience. I just went to the coolest freaking store today for lunch. I've been here in the town I live in, Mark. I've been here for a year, right? I typically have to drive like 45 minutes to an hour to get to a respectable grocery store or home needs type store. I don't want to name any big brands on this kind of. So I just happened to stop because I knew that they had this barbecue the food truck, right? They had a barbecue food truck there today that I really wanted to go check out. And so I stopped there, and it's a mercantile, right? So it's modern 2023, running like an old school, old style Western mercantile. The owner meets you when you walk in the door. She doesn't recognize my face, so she gets to know me, walks me around the store. Here's our beer and libations. Here's our jerkies. Here's our, farm to table, literally like they hand feed, that's hand fed, hand raised cattle. Come back here. Let's show you the dog food. I just was blown away.
Right.
Those are the type of businesses that not only do they need to sustain, but like, that's who I want 10 of in my town.
Right.
I don't want or need 10 Tractor Supply stores.
Yeah.
So how do you make sure that, Whiskey Flats Mercantile stays in business, one, and that the Ace Hardwares and the Tractor Supplies don't put them out of business in the next 2 years? Then the next big question is, how do you get them to grow and expand? How do you help them figure out how to scale, and how do you do that at an affordable? That part is easy. But that was the motivation, is like just those types of that is American commerce. And I'm not saying that big business isn't. I'm not saying that we don't need the Waltons.
Yeah.
But I think America loses something when we ever have to start asking a serious question of, is there going to be a future where my kids can have a corner store if they want it?
Right. And I think that that's something really important to remember, because you know a little bit about my story. For people like me, I'm a high school dropout. I only have 4 years of public school. I was homeschooled all of elementary, literally just middle school. College wasn't an option for me. I grew up on the farm, and if it wasn't for starting a business, I would still be on the farm throwing watermelon and moving cows today for $12 an hour.
Yep.
And
and nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing at all. I just tell my wife, sometimes I miss it. I want to go back to the farm, but just for a weekend.
Yeah.
Like the second it snows, I'm not out there.
I'm done.
I promise.
I'm done.
But I love that, because kind of like what you were just saying with that mercantile is, I think the beautiful thing about being online and social is that business, the way you're talking, it sounds like the only way they can provide value is that direct communication.
God. It is.
That,
it's like,
that contact, and social is just, well, let's expand that to more people. That's how you grow a business, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why podcasts, YouTube, all those things blow up. People with channels, it's just, we talked about yesterday, the best ability is availability. And making yourself, I can't talk, making yourself more available to people is how you grow your business. And that's why, as soon as we talked, and, I got brought onto the team, I was so excited, because it's so nice to find people that want to share that vision
Yeah.
and then
And
go take it and help people.
it's not hard to do. It's just not
Yeah.
hard to do. That's the other piece of it, is it's not hard. It's definitely not hard to create a rinse and repeat, a shake and bake sort of website model that come pay us, $2,000-3,000, and we basically just carbon copy a website from someone else. That's a massive ROI for a company that wants to do that. And it's good enough for the client that's paying them, but you don't have to be that lazy.
Yeah.
It's not doing anything wrong to give an accurate value, right? A $2,000 to $3,000 website, that's not a huge investment. It's really a very small amount of money, right? And you should expect to get about $2,000 to $3,000 worth of value out of a $2,000 to $3,000 website. But that doesn't mean that you need to spend $23,000 or $30,000 on a website. You need to have a conversation with a team that understands it and spends the time asking you the questions, and then is able to, identify and lay it out to you. Hey, with this type of investment, let's just use an example. We can do a buy online, pick up in store.
Yeah.
Where they have an account and we can manage that account and we can securely access that database and keep their records private and keep the transactions secured and encrypted. And you can have this nice ability for a customer to have an account that they can log into. And now you can start to add value. Maybe a year from now, we start doing a loyalty program, right? Now that's a website that has love and care and attention, has SEO and technical development behind the scenes under the hood that's been put in with thought and with care. And it doesn't have to cost you, 20 grand up front. Right. So what happens is, again, right, it's for a lot of small businesses. If the mercantile came to me tomorrow and said, hey, Adam, what would you suggest? And I said, oh, let's do a website. And the website's probably going to cost you between $12,000 and $18,000. They're going to be like, we'll never be able to, we'll never be able to do it.
Yeah.
So obviously the first thing I got to do is I've got to show them that there's value in that and that there's a path to get there. It's not $18,000 and you have a website tomorrow. It's let's do a deposit. Let's iterate. Let's build it. Let's test it. Let's make a payment on it. Let's make a payment on it. Let's make a payment on it, so that you've absorbed that over a period of time. And then when you're launching that website, you as the business owner and us as the partner, we all know we have the marketing getting ready to be in place to advertise the new features on the website, to share that value with the customer base, to grow that new customer base, to bring that new audience to the platform, to the website. And now we have a reason to expect and anticipate and monitor and measure those growth results, right? When you plan for $150,000 added to the bottom line next year, then an $18,000, $25,000, $35,000 spend isn't so maniacal, right?
Yeah.
It's not hard to, you got to think about it this way. If you're an inventory store at all, if you have any type of inventory, right? And like our service-based businesses are going to say, well, I don't have inventory, right? I mow lawns.
Right.
Yeah, you do. Yes, you do. You have inventory. You're just not acquiring high ticket inventory on a regular basis. You're amortizing high ticket inventory over a small period of time, but every time that you get gas, every time that you pay an insurance bill, every single time, all of that, your cleanup bags, your grocery bag, all of those supplies, that is inventory. If you are a traditional actual retailer and you actually physically have SKUs and units in hand, every one of us at that level has at some point made a large purchase order. Every one of us. It's not any different, right? So purchasing marketing, purchasing a website, purchasing, digital strategy and consulting, it's no different than making that big PO. And now what you're doing is looking at the turn rate of that big PO. You got these pallets that just came in. You're getting ready for Black Friday. You're getting ready for Christmas. You're getting ready for all the holiday sales. But you're also looking at that PO that you just made a huge purchase on. And you're looking at all that inventory and going, God, I hope I turn this inventory at least twice. What if you don't turn it but once in a quarter, once and a half? What if you turn it 2.5 times? And so these are the questions that, these red flag businesses, these red flag marketers, they don't take the time to ask you those questions. Yeah. Right.
I kind of think of it kind of like going to the doctor. I don't want a doctor that learned how to do surgery on YouTube. and there's so many people that, nothing against them, because I support anybody in entrepreneurship trying to build their own business, but
Agreed.
there's something that comes with experience. I was just talking to a guy on our team today, that I'm actually going to talk to you about a little later, that he's struggling a little bit with the desire to go get the call. And he's like, I wish I could sound like you when I'm on the phone. And I was like, well, that didn't just come today. I didn't just watch a YouTube video today.
And
Like,
learn
this
how
is
to.
right. This is 10 years in, and I still call and ask for advice. And that's where I think, like,
Yeah,
second team is so valuable to these small companies, is you've got my experience, your tremendous experience, Sean, Josh, all these guys' experience that
yeah,
are coming
yep,
together to be like, how can we best help the business take back their market and grow, and take part of
yeah.
the American dream? And that's what
That's it.
I'm so passionate about. So
Yeah, I'm proud of us for being able to do that. I'm proud of the team that, it took time. It takes time to get
yeah,
a team together that actually gets passionate about that vision and sees that vision crystal clear. It took a year. It took a year for us to have the right team that really understood that vision because, a lot of times people, let's be honest, right? Unless you're this type of football fan, right? Unless you're living in Europe, nobody in America wants to be on the second team, right?
right.
It's a sports analogy. It's a sports analogy for second team, but it translates simply to we are a fractional team, right? You don't, most of our companies, most of our clients do not need a full-time digital marketer, at their office 40 hours a week. They don't even probably need someone part-time 20 hours a week. So it's a very simple one-to-one translation of, look, you've got your team that's physically boots on the ground, coming into the office every day, working the cash registers every day, packing and unpacking inventory, sending out shipments, and that's your team. That's your first team. Your digital marketing team can be entirely fractional and off-site, right? We need to do graphic design for most of our clients, maybe 4 hours every week.
Yeah,
That's not someone that you need full time, right? If we do video content, you're gonna edit a month's worth of videos, over a couple of days. Digital strategy, reading and doing analysis is something that takes a good expert, 15, 20 minutes every couple days to just be looking for those anomalies and those trends. But the term second team doesn't resonate in the United States, and it doesn't make sense until you have to go through the whole pitch. Well, again, it took a year of just building the right team to be able to say, but that is who we are. That is the team that we have. We have a team of people that we resonate with small businesses. That's who we are. That's our target. That's who we're out there to serve. And part of that is, you got to be able to speak to them in a way that makes sense to them.
yeah,
Talking to a CTO of a major software company is nothing like having a heart-to-heart conversation with, a guy that has 3 crews and does landscaping and, also has 3 kids at home, and, they're
100%.
crazy ups and downs. It's that those 2 guys maybe getting the same money at the end of the year, totally different lives.
Yep. They can't even relate.
They can't
So,
relate.
yep. And so, dude, I love this. I love the call. I know we wanted to keep these kind of short. We're already almost at half an hour. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It's
but
crazy.
looking forward to doing this again with you in the next
Yeah,
couple
bud.
days. But
Yep.
anything you want to say just to sign off to our team or potential clients that are going to be watching this video?
Yeah, so for the team, thank you guys. Like, just literally thank you guys so much. It's taken us a really fun and tough road. They definitely tell you that there's no such thing as an easy road. There's no such thing as, just having it be a handout. The successes that we have, it's been, over a year of working for that. And so to have that, be able to share that with you guys is just such an honor. I appreciate you guys letting me be able to do this, and catching the dream and catching the vision with us. To our clients, I mean, equal thank you. Thank you for giving us a chance. Thank you for the clients that are out there that, have put their trust in us and are seeing growth. I get excited for every call when I'm going to be on with a client. We're going to talk about, holy shit, we're looking at year over year growth, and we can't believe that here's where we are. So it's like a mini little version of Shark Tank almost
Yeah.
every couple of weeks we get to have those calls. And that's, so I thank you guys. Thank you for being, an entrepreneur. Thank you for being a small business. Thank you for choosing to keep those things about America, alive and well, even when times are scary. You can't escape it. When you're an entrepreneur, you can't deny it. You can't
Yeah.
shake that. And so I appreciate, all of you for doing what you do, and for giving us a chance to help you, fulfill that dream. So yeah, it's just an honor. It's such an
Cool.
honor.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Adam.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. I appreciate you. So glad that we got you on our team, man.
Awesome. Me too. I'm excited. Cool.
See you next time. See you, bud.
See ya.